This week, a crew of four will set out on the world's toughest row over 2,400 nautical miles or 4,500 kilometers from Monterey in California to Kauai, Hawaii. They will be raising money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. They are human-powered potential. Brendan Cusick, their captain, is a former professional mountain guide, high-altitude climber, lifelong mountain endurance athlete, husband, and father. Peter Durso is a board-certified emergency medicine physician, humanitarian and disaster response volunteer, medical evacuation flight physician, and former competitive swimmer and coach. Scott Foreman is a board-certified emergency medicine physician, creator of, I hope I'm saying this right, Arrows, and founder and CEO of Third Rock MD, former international high altitude mountain guide and endurance athlete, and also a runner, cycler, and skier. Pat Morrissey recently retired as president and COO of GF Properties Group. He's a professional engineer and former NCAA Division I wrestler and lifelong multi-sport athlete. He's married and the father of two incredible young women. Pat was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2019. Welcome to Notes from a Ghost, a podcast about stories and the people who tell them. My name is Charlie, and I'm a ghostwriter. I love a good story, especially a sea story. I hope you enjoy this one. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Charlie.
Thanks, Pat. Brendan, when we spoke earlier, you and I were talking about something we both know, and a lot of listeners might not know, and that is being near shore, any shore, is not a good thing or a safe thing when you're in a small boat. Could you help people understand that?
Yeah. Nearer to shore when you're on a small vessel like a kayak or a rowboat, there's a lot more intricacies going on, such as, you have not only the coastline, which can be variable from cliffs to beaches to rocky varieties, but you also have the tides you have to deal with. Just the general hydraulics and currents are a little bit more aggressive near to shore. And then the swells that come in also can affect how your movement is going, and obviously you're more susceptible in these lighter weight vessels. In addition to that, that's most of where the sea traffic is. You have a lot more vessels that are near to the coastline, fishing boats to other sightseers and other just general watercraft. That obviously that brings a bit more of a challenge when you're closer to the shore as compared to being further off.
And I think another thing that's really foreign to people is ocean rowing as an activity. My buddy Mike is going to be on this podcast. He's an ocean rower. We talk a little bit about that. But can you take us through a day in life aboard an ocean rowing boat?
Yeah, and I'll speak to the training aspect of it, which is, where we've carried it up so far, which is very relevant to our crossing coming up here. But for perspective in terms of, kind of our roles, we row in 2-hour shifts most frequently. So you're rowing for 2 hours and then you're resting for 2 hours, and you're alternating in that fashion for 24 hours a day until you reach your destination. And so, when you're on shift and you're rowing, that's your primary focus, in addition to, maintaining watch, looking for other vessels that might be out there, or other relevant objects. And then when you're off shift, especially during the day, you will definitely have some chores to do, cleaning solar panels. We have a desalinator, reverse osmosis water maker. So we're making water for everybody. The timing of that is critical to maximize our battery capacity and also get a recharge off the solar system. So we're doing that. We're keeping the boat clean, organized, in good fashion. And on top of your chores, and then, we're also checking, our radar system to see if there's any vessels nearby, just general maintenance. Um, and then, and then you want to try to get some food in you after your shift. So we're eating in between, and then obviously getting as much rest as we can, really trying to shrink that chore and eat window to the minimum necessary, and then increasing the amount of sleep that we can get. During the night shifts, it definitely transitions a bit more to focusing on, getting some food in and then getting some sleep and chore aspect of things. And that'll repeat day in, day out for the duration of our crossing.
Till you get to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing about these long distance events, nobody paddles 2,400 nautical miles by paddling 1,800 first, the way you would train for a marathon. You do close to the distance. What kind of training have you guys been doing, and how's it been going?
Um, our training we've been off the coast of Southern California. And, our training rows have varied anywhere from, just short day rows, 6, 7 hours, up to just shy of 2 days. And it varies depending on, obviously, weather and conditions, and then also available time. We are all spread out across the U.S., so we fly in for these training rows, and then things come up that alter our abilities to get a longer row in, for example. But the training has, I would say, gone exceptionally well. We go through a lot of the different safety drills while we're out there. And I think one of the most important aspects is just spending a tremendous amount of time together on the boat, developing that familiarity, not only with the boat and just the routine, but with each other. And so all of that has built up to make for some pretty remarkable times out on the boat.
Nice. And I want to hear, I have some questions for each of you about kind of the days ahead and what it's like being right on the eve of such an amazing trip. But Pat, I wanted to single you out because um, I mean what all of you are doing is really exceptional. But um, Pat, you are not only raising money for Parkinson's research, um, but you are rowing with Parkinson's, and I'm wondering what does this challenge mean to you?
Yeah, thanks for the question. This is it's a tough question to answer because it is really continuing to change over this event from the beginning to now, and but it, simply put, it means a bunch to me. It means um, hopefully I can help inspire some other people to continue to live and challenge themselves the with Parkinson's, and know that if you have this progressive, non-curable disease, but it doesn't mean that you have to stop living, and being able to do this is a way that I've been able to challenge myself and and continue to strive for and set goals, um, and and then also it, it means a lot to me to be with these guys, you know, and other than just Parkinson's, these guys are rowing for me and for Parkinson's. And sometimes I always talk about it's easy for me to row for Parkinson's, but these guys are rowing for me and they don't even have Parkinson's. So it means so much to me for them to commit their life, their time, their family time to be able to help the Parkinson's community and 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 strive to really what I'm looking for is find a cure in my lifetime,
Mm.
you know, and that's a big statement, and but I really truly feel that it's possible, and fundraising and fundraising for trials and um, is a way that we can um, make make a change. So hopefully that makes a little sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it hits home for me as you know, someone. My mom has Parkinson's, and I've the I'm training for my second attempt to do something pretty epic in a kayak for her and for Parkinson's, and the thing that I wasn't prepared for, because the difference, I guess, in a kayak trip is you're landing every single night, so you see people all the time, and you're coming into harbors and beaches, and uh, even though you feel like you're still on the water because the that all day motion, which I'm sure you know at this point. I was not prepared for how many people I was going to meet who saw Michael J. Fox Foundation on the side of the boat and had a someone in their life with Parkinson's. And it was especially, I mean, you're already in this emotionally heightened state on a trip like that, but to hear some of those stories, I I I had no words. Sometimes I would just sort of stand there and listen and take it all in. And I don't know. It helped me keep going. And I was paddling on an injury, so I kept going a lot longer than I should have. But um, and I hope this doesn't sound disrespectful, and we can cut it out if it does. But um, I would imagine it's one hell of a way to say fuck you to Parkinson's.
Yeah, you said it, and you can leave that in. Yes, it's it's exactly what one of the reasons I'm doing this is. It's really easy to go down a rabbit hole and kind of give up, um, and especially at the beginning um, when you really don't understand a lot of what the disease and how it's going to have attack you because it is different for everybody. And this is definitely one way that I've kind of set my mind to this with these guys. These guys, 100% supportive um, and greatest guys in the world. Um, and you can just say, I can do this, and it's not going to hold me back. And the great thing is I'm staying up with everybody. Really am. I've been able to train, get my body back in shape, and I feel strong, which is really helps me mentally. To be able to really feel comfortable getting out there and being able to do this and finish it.
And it seems, it's worth pointing out, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this. I mean, first of all, this is something that isn't easy for anyone, regardless of Parkinson's or no Parkinson's. But also, um, you wouldn't be on this team if you couldn't do it, because you can't pull anybody through the water. There's no room on a tiny boat for um, so that even just getting to the starting line strikes me as something really admirable and impressive. Um, Pete, I want to hear from you. What's something you're excited about and something you're nervous about, and why did you want to do this in the first place?
So as far as the why, um, it has evolved throughout the process, and now there's a pretty clear why. we're doing this for Pat and to raise money for Parkinson's research and to cure this disease. That's very clear at this point in time. My initial why was more along the lines of, well, how often does something like this come along in your lifetime, and how could I pass this up? That was the why for me initially. As far as what I'm excited about, it's going to be amazing to spend more time with these guys throughout the process, throughout the training, throughout the preparation. That has been the best part of this for me, has been these three friends who I will say right now are my best friends I have in this world and will be for the rest of my life. And just to be able to spend more time with them is what I'm excited about. I'm nervous about a lot of things. I mean, this is new territory for all of us. It's not something we've done, crossed an ocean, obviously. Big waves, big winds, the cold coming out of Monterey, it's going to be freezing. The heat coming into Hawaii is going to be rough, seasickness, not being able to eat. It's a long list. And I'm probably the nervous Nelly in this group. If you're not noticing that by now. But with the support of these guys and through our training rows, we've mitigated a lot of those nervous feelings and really gotten to a place where I think I know we can do this. I know we're really going to do well.
Scott, how about you? What why on earth are you doing this, and what are you nervous / excited about?
Low gear. I echo everyone else's sentiments that we are doing this for one another. We are doing this for Pat. We are doing this to find a cure for Parkinson's disease, and the incredible support that we've received from our sponsor, from everyone, from our partnership with Michael J. Fox. It's just to use Brendan's terms, it's just incredible amount of wind behind us. And I wish I could say in our sail, but we don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But it's a huge push. And that level of support and commitment from everyone else makes it so much easier to embrace the otherwise unfathomable commitment that we've made to cross an ocean together. And I also, I mean, what Pat said gave me goosebumps, and it does every time he says it, which is, that we can do this together, and that we can raise enough awareness and money to find a cure. And these guys mean everything to me, and I will bend until I break for them, and I know that they will for me. And the things that I'm looking forward to most is spending the time disconnected, untethered from technology, from all of the distractions that I know we all have in our lives, and enjoying the peace, as well as the trials and tribulations of what Mother Nature has to throw at us, and forming an even stronger bond with these guys through our shared fortitude and our trials and tribulations. It's been an incredible journey thus far, and I think it's only going to become even more rich and gratifying. So,
This might be an impossible question to answer at this stage, but when I was talking to my friend Mike about his Atlantic crossing on a 6-man team, a couple of the guys when they got across never wanted to do it again, but a couple of them were like, "I'd go again right now." Obviously, there's other oceans. Do you think we'll see a human-powered potential transatlantic or across the Indian Ocean one of these days?
Never say no, but I think for some it'll be their only crossing, but I think that human power potential as a whole, it will continue to be a remarkable message and support of Parkinson's and just continuing to be a platform to support audacious endeavors by people who want to explore opportunities, and we intend to keep the boat. And so, that could open up opportunities for others. And, for myself personally, I mean, I'm most focused on this opportunity. And if one arises in the future that involves something like this, I'll see where I'm at that time. But like I said, never say no. But that's for me.
And
The one thing I will
yeah,
say
please.
is that as a whole, this will not be our last adventure as a foursome to continue to explore. This is monumental in terms of what we're taking on, but the richness, as Pete, Scott, and Pat have spoken to, is so deep and so thick that bond, I mean, every little hurdle that we've kind of come up against, in terms of creating any sort of stressor or anything, it's like, yeah, but we got us, we can, take care of it. And that is incredible. And having that richness of being together just almost makes every little thing a little easier. And, I mean, we are four guys, who want to take it all on themselves. And, it's been a hard one to let go of, but, we all recognize that in each other and that letting go and bringing it together as a team, which ocean rowing is just like it's just like so critical that you rely on each other because we each have to row, and that letting go piece has been huge. So yeah, but the future will unfold and be what it is.
Pat, if anyone's listening, because I'm there, I mean, as I said, I mean, there's guaranteed somebody listening with a Parkinson's connection in their life. But suppose somebody's listening and they hear this and think, oh, I want some of that, and they have Parkinson's. What would be your advice for training as an athlete with Parkinson's?
Oh, great. This is, you know, I've trained almost synonymous with how I've trained in the past. I've had to start at a low spot and maybe not take on quite as much at the beginning, but I think the training portion is just being committed and being consistent and just setting those goals of just getting up every day and continuing to get your body moving, and your body does adapt. I've really learned it. One of the things that our team got together when is almost year and a half ago, when I became part of the team, decided to do this. One of the first things is we all kind of looked at each other and said, well, let's give this, a few months, to see if my body can handle the training, because it's pretty rigorous. We have a daily workout that we've been doing for almost a year and a half that we've committed to, all four of us. And, after the four months, we got together and basically I was able to generally keep up. And that has to do with just keeping a good mindset, keeping positive, putting yourself around people that are positive and that want to, these guys don't treat me like I have Parkinson's. You wouldn't even know. Besides a few jokes here and there, and they can tell you a few of those, but I like that also. It keeps it light. But I'm just one of them, and I'm basically living my life like I don't have Parkinson's. Um, it does sneak up on me and tell me every once in a while that it's there, but um, they wouldn't even bring it up if I didn't bring it up. So it's just living your life and continue to live your life like you want to, and whatever that is, if it's working out every day or meditating or just being good to your family and friends. It's
Mm.
just living your life normal. Yeah.
Wow, wow. That's and I think that's good advice for anyone doing anything. Uh, Um, is there anything you guys are going to be doing to document your trip, and how can people follow along at home?
Yeah. We're we will be, shooting it. We have been and continue to shoot quite a bit of video and various, media for if something does come together, then that's great. The foundation has been talking about potentially doing a documentary. We'll see how that all pans out. Best way for folks to follow along is on social media, through Instagram and Facebook. We're Human Powered Potential, and then our website is humanpoweredpotential.org. Those are probably the best platforms. And then for the race and the crossing, the best go-to track our progress and, kind of where we're at is on the World's Toughest Row website. They'll have a live tracker that'll show where we're at and how we're doing and all of that. But we will be posting as often as we can to the socials while we're out on the crossing as well. So we'll have updates.
And yeah, I would encourage people to check those out, especially if you want to see what a ocean rowing boat looks like and how tiny it is, especially compared to the vast Pacific Ocean. Those trackers are incredible. I had my little Garmin InReach going during my first attempt last summer, and a lot of people said they were like keeping it open in a tab at work. And somebody said it was better than television. Like it was like they found it entertaining to watch the little dot move. And one and Pat, you've already got me very emotional, but I'm gonna more so as I say this, but a friend of mine said like um he was every morning he would sort of look and see what I had already done before he got out of bed. And I don't know, I'm so excited for you guys to have those experiences and to hear from people. I mean, have you, I'm sure people have been reaching out. I know we got in touch because I just thought what you're doing is cool and I sent you a DM. What have you been hearing from followers as you train and prepare?
Uh, I mean, it's just been incredible. I mean, a lot of just remarkable support. Family, friends, just everyone is just so behind us. I mean, most of us think we definitely have some screws loose, which is most likely very true. I'm glad they don't do a psychological analysis on ocean rowers before we take off because we'd all fail and nobody would be able to cross an ocean. But yeah, the outpouring of support, not only for us, but for our cause, has just been, incredible. And, as Scott alluded to, and these guys have heard me say this innumerable times, but it really helps me set the stage for this crossing, which is, that first third of the crossing is where all of that physical training and the hard work we put in the gym, on the erg rower at home, that's where it's really going to pay off. It's also the hardest part of the row, or at least we anticipate that's going to be the hardest part of the row. The currents are against us. The wind is against us. But once we break through that, you kind of get into that middle section where, we'll have strong tailwinds, and then it's just grit. It's that resilience, that determination, and that really takes over. And then that final third of coming into Hawaii is the tailwind that Scott was mentioning, and that's every person who's been behind us for the duration of our campaign. And, that support is what is going to be our anchor into Hawaii. So, every time I see a message of encouragement or anything else, it's like I kind of put that in a little spot and try to remember those words, when the going gets really tough. We've got each other for sure, but just to know that, like, it's as Pat said, Pete said, it's like, or as everyone said, it's like, it's so much bigger than us. I mean, we had our initial whys, it's like, okay, I want to challenge myself personally. And then it just grows and becomes something so much bigger. And that support is 100%, of what is going to bring us in. We'll get ourselves offshore and we'll put ourselves in the hurt locker a little bit, but, finishing is everybody behind us.
Mm. And do you have a playlist for while you're out there? You can be listening to music. Who controls the tunes?
I'm sure it'll be quite the variety, from Pat's 80s metal to, just a huge variety of different music. Yeah, we'll have a good mix up. We've got some Bluetooth speakers for the deck for party time, cocktail hour in the afternoon sort of thing. And then, it'll just be, we'll definitely have tunes going. And then, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be quiet times at night, especially, just individual rowing. Folks may just put in some earbuds and zone out and get the job done, especially when you're really fatigued. But I don't know.
And then this question's for each of you. Obviously, weight and space are at an absolute premium on such a small vessel, or any vessel really. But do you each have like a comfort item you're bringing, or one that's for the group?
Go.
Yeah. I
We
will
hadn't really
have.
discussed comfort items.
Yeah, we haven't.
I feel like,
Go ahead,
okay,
Pete.
what's yours, Pat? No,
No,
I'm wondering what yours is. I don't.
Yeah, I wonder what mine is. That's kind of where I was going with.
Pat, here's my answer. Yeah, Scott's going to bring enough comfort items for all of us. That's my answer.
So I've got a Theragun Mini that I think is going to get a lot of use. We don't have room for a larger Theragun, or a fleet of larger Theraguns, Pete, that I have at my home. But or Normatec compression booties. I mean, there's all the luxuries that would be so wonderful to have that I've enjoyed during other endurance events, but those have always been in the comfort of a back of a van or in a hotel. So whatever we bring, it has to be a form factor that doesn't get in the way. But my go-to is going to be that Theragun, man. That thing's going to be on constant recharge.
Yeah, I was saying I at this point I know I have it on my list to try to figure out what that special thing is,
Teddy
and
bear?
and it has not. Um, um, there's a few items on there, but nothing has just made the top of the list yet. It's going to be. It needs to be decided soon.
I've tasked my kids with really figuring that one out, because, that'll just be a powerful little piece that they've selected for me to just kind of bring that strength and remembrance, and just kind of have that on board for me. So, but in terms of comfort, it'll just be snuggling with Pete in the cabin if we go on para anchor. But other than that, uh, a comfortable pillow is probably one of the most important things I can think of that's going to be really valuable just to help facilitate that sleep. We are also, Pat alluded to meditation and that sort of thing, and we've gotten some different meditation recordings from a friend who is supporting us for this voyage and using like yoga nidra, which is like a non-sleep deep rest NSDR technique. And I think that that's going to be like a little tool that just really kind of helps calm, mind, body, spirit. And, kind of on the same notion you're asking about music and that sort of thing. But I think this is just going to be a nice little comfort factor to hear somebody else's voice, when you need to relax, and just kind of recenter. And so that's going to be a nice piece too.
That was a big one for me. I did a lot of that ahead of, and I'd read some of these early. There's a what's Linderman or something. There's a German guy who was the first person to sea kayak across the Atlantic, and he did at the time it was called like autogenic training, very similar. But I found that was really helpful in deregulating from, and you guys would know the medical side, but to go from being just switched on and alert on the water to now I can sleep in my tent and I'm not carrying the stress with me and I'm actually getting to recover a little bit. Pete, what's your comfort item?
Like Brendan said, we're still working on finding the perfect pillow. So that is going to be a big one. And I think for all of us, a piece of gear that is going to provide a lot of comfort is the Garmin, is the inReach, so we can be in communication with our families and friends along the route, because that's going to be a huge benefit to be able to correspond and just get their words and just know that there are other people out there besides the four of us who are thinking about us every day.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yes.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yes, Charlie, thank you for this opportunity and reaching out to even more Parkinson's community and getting that word out there. So thank you very much. And thank you for your rowing for the foundation. I do want to put a shout out to the Michael J. Fox Foundation and what they've done with us and for us we're basically a partner with them on this endeavor and utilizing that great organization, along with a shout out to my family and my wife also. I want to throw that one out there. She's I know we all have that, but she's my rock. So, but
yeah, that's the truth of behind every major endurance adventure challenge, there is a abundantly patient spouse somewhere. And no,
yes.
But I find it's easier to be out there when you have a wonderful home to come home to. It's funny how that works. And I liked what you said that that they will occasionally roast you over your Parkinson's because I like with my mom, humor is such a important and underrated part of living with a not so great diagnosis.
Yes, and that's true. I always talk about. I mean, I say that they treat me, like I'm just one of them, and they don't mention it unless there's a roast in there. There's little comments, and that's the only time that it comes up, and it brings a smile to all of our faces and brings light to the situation, which is really good. So there's many stories.
He provides us plenty of fodder outside of Parkinson's. We don't even need to go. we don't need to dig very deep. Isn't that right? Pony up, Simba.
Yeah, geez, so right. You guys, I don't know how I became that one of the group, but
Oh,
good
unreal.
stuff. Yeah,
Well, guys, have the best time. I'm wishing you fair winds and following seas, and I will be watching that tracker move.
sounds great.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Charlie.
Charlie.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Charlie.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Take care.
If you have an epic story, I'd love to hear it. You can find me at dailypros.com or on LinkedIn. My links and the links for Human Powered Potential, the tracker, and most importantly, the fundraiser links for the Michael J. Fox Foundation are in the show notes. Thanks for listening.